Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how to use Python directly within Excel. Whether you're into data analysis, financial modeling or automation, this could change the way you work within Excel. We'll cover how to use it, why you'd use it, and some real world examples. Let's take a look in Excel at how we can start using Python. Within any cell we can type PY and then open parenthesis, and then you can see within the formula bar the little FX button changes to a PY symbol. Now Excel has realised we're trying to enter Python code. We can enter lines normally, but as we press enter we're going to do line breaks within our current formula. And notice to enter we need to press Control and enter. As a quick demonstration, we have some data on the left. We can use Python code to sum up the units sold. Now Excel is natively better at doing this sort of task. For the purposes of this example, to see our first bit of Python code, I'm just going to sum it up. So if we click on the data, Control Shift down, you can see Excel has defaultly added Excel, open parenthesis, double quotes, the cell range, double quotes, close parenthesis, and then we can put dot sum, and you can see the IntelliSense is giving us the option of sum within Python. Down to that, press tab, and then we can do two parentheses. And remember, we need to press Control and enter to commit this Python code. Now we can see we have a series showing here. If we were to click on the PY element, you can see this is showing 10,308. We double check the sum we're looking for here by pressing Alt and equals. We're looking for 10,308, and that was the number within here. Now to see the output of this, we can click up here, and then instead of having a Python object, we can have an Excel value. And that's going to return the value of that Python directly to that cell. An alternative method for inserting Python is to go to the formula bar and then use the Insert Python option here. And then you can see that's by default giving us the PY symbol that we achieved by writing equals PY, open parenthesis. If you don't see these Python options within your Excel ribbon, it could be that you're not on a supported version of Excel. To check which versions of Excel are currently supported, I'm going to flash up on screen now. Python in Excel comes with a standard set of Python libraries provided by Anaconda through a secure distribution. The core libraries defaultly loaded into the model are Matplotlib, NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn and Statsmodel. There are, however, an additional list of libraries that you can use, however you need to load these first. I'm going to flash up on screen now the list of available libraries. So you can see there's quite a few available options to us within the Excel Python environment. You're probably wondering why and when you should be using Python within Excel over Excel's native formulas or functionality such as Power Query, Power Pivot. Well, the answer varies depending on what your use case is, but let's have a look at some of the typical examples of why Python in Excel would be favourable over the other standard features we've just mentioned. If you're carrying out advanced data analysis and statistics, native Excel has basic stats tools, but Python, with its additional libraries, offers far more robust options. So for example, if you're going beyond a simple linear trend line, use Python. We'll have a look at an example of this in a minute. Reason 2 would be custom visualization. So if you've got advanced multi-axis plots, animated charts, heat maps, violin plots, correlation matrices. At number 3, data cleaning and transformation. So Power Query is natively really good at this process. However, Python may outperform it with massive data sets or particular tasks. If you're finding Power Query is becoming slow or it simply can't do what you're trying to do, then it might be worth exploring whether Python can help. Machine learning and predictive modeling. So native Excel can't do machine learning. However, Python has options available to it, such as these. This is really useful for predicting data based off historical data. If you're working with external or complex file formats, there's some crossover with Power Query again here, potentially explore Python. If you're finding your dynamic array formulas are causing your spreadsheets to slow down, even though they're really efficient compared to static formulas, you may find advantages using pandas. This has better memory handling and can process far larger data sets without your spreadsheet coming to a grinding halt. Finally, reusable analytic workflows. So this can often be easier to control and maintain than Visual Basics. It has more powerful scripting logic, and it can combine data processing, visualization, and modeling all within one flow. Let's have a look now at predicting some future data based off this data set that we have here. If we wanted to predict the next 12 months data based off this 24-month period that we have here from January 23 to December 24 for units sold, if we were using Excel, we could tackle it using a method similar to what I'm going to illustrate here. So first step, because we've got multiple years here, I'm going to group the data by months so that we have total January, total February, and so on. I'm going to use Excel's group by function for this. So we're going to group by the months within our month column. So these are dates at the moment, but we just want to extract number 1 for January, number 2 for February to get their monthly numbers. And then we're going to group by the units sold. Our function is going to be the average of these. We don't want field headers, and we don't want totals. Close parenthesis. Gone a bit too far there, I've included the total. So now we have the average units sold by month. And if we test this logic, so for month 12, December, if we just highlight these two, you can see the average for those is 850. From here, it'd be useful to have actual dates rather than month numbers against each of these average values. So I'm going to use the eDate function, and we're going to start from the end of the month on our last data, and we're going to plus on 1 day from that. So this is going to return the end of December plus 1 day, which would be the 1st of January 25. So that will be our start date within our eDate, and then we could simply enter 0 here to shift on 0 months. This formula could then be pulled down and each parameter changed. However, that's very manual, so we're going to combine this last argument of months in with a sequence. The number of rows we want will be 12 for this example, or we could use the rows function to count the number of rows within our array. This will return 12. Columns will default to 1, so we'll leave that blank. Our starting step will be 0, and we're going to count up in increments of 1 month. We've now got our dates. What we could do now is we could stack this original data set with our new data. I'm just going to stack the months next to the units sold so that it's in the same format as our first stack. Close parenthesis on a H stack, close parenthesis on a B stack. Just going to format these so we can clearly see the dates. So we've now got data from the 1st of Jan 23 all the way to the 1st of 12 25, and that uses our actual data from at the top left here with our average data for the final year to give us predictions based off our first 2 years of data. We could then link this to a simple line chart like this to see our predictions for the final year. However, we can use Python for this, and actually it's going to visually look better and use enhanced logic on how to predict that final year. If we cast back to the list of available models within Python for Excel, there's the Statsmodels library, and within this Statsmodel library there's a model called the Holt Winters model. The Holt Winters model is a time series forecasting method, and it accounts for 3 things: level, so the average level within a series of values; a trend, so whether the trend is moving upwards or downwards over time; and seasonality. So in our case, where we've got monthly data, are the seasonal trends. So for example, higher sales within December when the Christmas rush comes. Let's have a look at how we enter this into Excel. We're going to use py open parenthesis to convert to Python formula. I'm going to paste in all this code. Going through this Python code line by line is out of scope for this video. However, I just want to illustrate the possibilities of what we can achieve using Python within Excel. So as mentioned, this is from the Holt Winters Statsmodel, and I've set it up so that it uses the trend data of those first 2 years of monthly data. It's going to assume there's no trend. So for example, if our second year sales are showing higher than our first year, this isn't going to continue a linear increase in sales year by year. It's going to use seasonal functionality, and the seasonal periods are the 12 months. So I'm going to press Control and Enter to commit this formula. Now you can see, now that we've committed that formula, we have PY image. If we click on this formula, a little pop-up appears asking us how we want to insert the data. I'm going to click that, and if we hover over the data card, you can see we actually have an image within here. So instead of that, we're going to go display this plot over cells. Then we have our Python code within A3 and our actual image output below it. So now we've got nicely within blue our actual data, a dashed vertical cutoff showing the end of our actual data, and our forecasted data shown in a different color. For the purposes of this example, I've made January through to November identical values within each of the years. So we'd expect to see the same numbers predicted for January 25 to November 25 as what happened in Jan 23 through to November 24. However, to illustrate this working, I've also changed December to be 700 in the first year and 1,000 in the second. So I'd expect this model to predict somewhere in between those two numbers. And you can see our first manual Excel method came in at 850, the average of the two. Now let's have a look how this is working. And now you can see that the first 11 months of each of these years looks identical as just shown in the data, and then December being the different figure in each year, and you can see that with no trend, and this is plotted at the 850 average. And if I just make this smaller so that we can see these side by side, I'm going to take this line graph and put it on here instead. And there we have it, a Python graph that predicts the third year of data and outputs the graph all within one simple Python expression compared to manually recreating that. Appreciate this is not necessarily the fastest and easiest method where it could be done in Excel, but I've just done it in a way to illustrate this output of a line graph that equally doesn't look as nice as our Holt Winters Statsmodel output. Just to note that this Python code will actually automatically update when the data changes. We change our December value in year 2 to be 2000, and then if we go over to our new graph, you can see that this is recalculating in the background, and now we have a revised just above 1250 third year December value. And that's it, Python within Excel. What do you think? Is that one of the most exciting updates you've seen in years? Bridges the gap between analysts and data scientists in a super practical way. If you found that video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments whether you'd like more deep dives into Python or specific use cases. Until next time, thanks for watching.